Hello everyone, my name is Brian Shine Simpson. Today I will share about the background of Tun Hussein bin Datu On. Tun Hussein bin Datu On was a Malaysian politician who served as the third Prime Minister of Malaysia. He is ruling from 1976 to 1981. Tun Hussein On was born in Johor Bahru on 12 February 1922. He is also the eldest son of Datu On Jafar and Datin Halimah. Datu On Jafar is the Menteri Besar of Johor and the first president of UMNO. Tun Hussein On also received his early education in Singapore and at the English College Maktab Sultan Abu Bakar in Johor Bahru. He was married to Top Wan Suhaila Tan Sri Hal Muhammad Noah, and during his prime minister, he was granted the sobriquet Bapak Perpaduan because of his contribution to the unity of the people in Malaysia. He was retired and passed the leadership baton to Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in 16 July 1981. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, next, let's move to the Datuk Harun Idris corruption issue. Datuk Harun Idris is the Menteri Besar Selangor and also the UMNO yet president that was allegedly involved in loss incurred by Bank Rakyat. He was being investigated for offence involving corruption as well as irregular activities. Datuk Harun was found guilty and sentenced to 2 years in prison, and he was ousted from his position as Menteri Besar of Selangor despite the protests from UMNO members arises, especially from the YAK, and it is converted by giving him a winning victory to Harun in UMNO Supreme Council and was also to seek pardon or remission of sentences. However, Tun Hussein On instead act to expel Harun from UMNO since he was motivated by Harun accusation against him and Tun Razak for being influenced by communists. Tun Hussein On act in such a way of fear of Harun anti-communist attitude. Meanwhile, Tun Hussein On remained firm on his decision based the rule of law. No amnesty was arranged and Harun served a prison sentence until mid-1981.
The next challenges are Chinese politics with BN. These challenges are driven by Bumiputra rights. The Chinese Unity Movement was founded in the early 1970s with the goals of creating a new, vibrant leadership within the MCA and expanding its base of supports to include all political parties and organizations with Chinese roots. The Chinese Unity Movement, CUM, group which seeks to define Chinese rights in contrast to Malay and indigenous rights, and the established leadership are engaged in a factional conflict inside the MCA. Under pressure from the BN, MCA ultimately destroyed CUM in 1973 by removing more militant spokesmen in order to maintain party discipline. Despite CUM's dissolution, MCA recognized the need to build grassroots support and champion ideas that will benefit their constituents directly. Due to BN restriction, Lee Sanchu's administration of MCA in 1974 started looking into various initiatives that would benefit the Chinese without encountering significant opposition from other BN constituent parties. The plan was devised so that the Chinese community could adapt to the NEP's more competitive business environment and shifting economic landscape. This is because non-Malay business, especially those in China, were facing a major threat from government support and government-sponsored Bumiputra enterprises.
The fifth political challenge faced by Tun Hussein On is federalism in Sabah and Sarawak. Abdul Rahman Yaakob, who was the head of the Malay Muslim-based United Bumiputra Heritage Party, or more known as Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB, exploited the federal support and misused his power as the chief minister to build and retain control of the Malay native Chinese coalition. The creation of the Parti Pesaka Bumiputra Bersatu PBB that included parties such as Sarawak National Parties SNAP, which commanded the majority support of most interior non-Muslim native people, and also the Sarawak United People's Party SUPP. However, the coalition of the PBB started to shake in 1978 election, which was due to the dissatisfaction felt by its member over Rahman Yaqub's leadership, who was accused of being corrupted and nepotism in PBB. The accusation made towards Rahman Yaqub was led by Haji Ali Kawi and the factionalism in PBB, which then they decided to break away and form a new party called Parti Anak Jati Sarawak PAJAR. After the formation PAJAR, it led to another factionalism in other BN component, especially in non-Muslim native and Chinese, such as Parti Umat Sarawak UMAT, Parti Negara Sarawak PANAS, and Barisan Rakyat Jati Sarawak Organization SAPO. Ultimately, after seeing that core support within the party weakening, Rahman Yaqub decided to not submit his government to a state election in 1978, which at the same time was the federal election was being held. After the federal involvement, the Sarawak BN finally agreed common slate of 24 candidates for the federal election.
So, in conclusion to our presentation, Tun Hussein On was a strict and charismatic individual whose passion made people around him believe and chose him to become the third Prime Minister of Malaysia. Even though there were a lot of political hurdles that he has to face, such as the factionalism in UMNO of the issue of communists in UMNO, Dato' Harun Idris on corruption case, the Chinese politics within Barisan Nasional, Kelantan crisis expulsion of PAS from Barisan Nasional, federalism in Sabah and Sarawak, and the Islamic revivalism, Tun Hussein On was still resilient in his leadership and stilled his nerves and made decisions on these matters to become one of the best prime ministers in Malaysia. As Malaysian, we should know our country's history and the people who fought and administered it, including Tun Hussein On, who we should be proud of having as our Prime Minister. His personality of strict and steadfast in any decision he makes is one that everybody should try to embody themselves, including the future Prime Minister.